How the British Empire used famine as a weapon. For centuries, famine has been chalked up as the tragic consequence of drought, disease, or the wrath of nature. But behind these tragedies often lies political design. 1. The Colonial Playbook of Starvation. British colonial rule inherited and often innovated a chilling tactic, weaponizing hunger. Authoritarian regimes frequently turned famine into a tool of domination, using food scarcity to terrify, control, and depopulate. Economist Amartya Sen reminded us that famine is rarely about food shortage. It's about entitlement, distribution, and political will. Colonial administration wrested control of resources from vulnerable populations, tipping them onto the brink of survival. 2. Bengal famine of 1943, engineering crisis in wartime. Bengal, 1943. As the world burned, millions in India starved. British wartime policies, dubbed denial policies, systematically removed boats and rice from coastal Bengal. Coupled with inflationary measures and preferential rations funneled to Allied troops in strategic industries, food was literally priced out of reach for millions. 3. Orissa, 1866. Export despite entrails. In Odisha, then Orissa, a severe drought in 1866 devastated local harvests. Yet, despite the crippling conditions, Britain continued exporting rice, even as over 1 million people died, nearly 1/3 of the population. 4. Great Famine of 1876-78. Markets over mercy. A decade later, another disaster, the Great Famine of 1876-78, swept the Deccan. Despite widespread death, the colonial administration clung to free market dogma. Chief architect Richard Temple insisted on austere relief and strict eligibility. Grain exports persisted. Estimates suggest that over 5.6 million souls perished. 5. A long legacy of famine under empire. From the Bengal famine of 1770, where the East India Company's revenue demands coincided with catastrophic loss of life, to the late Victorian famines, every episode marks the same pattern: famine met with ideology, not empathy. 6. Ireland, biopolitics and colonial management of hunger. Across the Irish Sea, the Great Famine, 1845-52, unfolded amid food exports and a reluctance to intervene. Scholars argue this famine was shaped by an imperial biopolitical logic designed to manage, regulate, and dominate populations. Famine became governance. 7. From empire to international law, a slow reckoning. For centuries, Western powers banished starvation as a weapon, but only long after they wielded it. It was only in the late 1970s, with the additional protocols to the Geneva Conventions, that starvation was formally outlawed as a method of warfare, and in the 1990s, the Rome Statute codified it as a war crime. Until then, using hunger as a means of warfare remained disturbingly legal and effective. Famine was never just nature's cruelty. It was the calculated missteps of empires indifferent to human cost. Today, we recognize starvation by design as unconscionable. But history's echoes remain, and they urge us to confront them, learn, and never allow such power to go unchecked again. Oh, famine as a weapon. History's shadow on the present.